This interview is getting weirder and weirder. Hey everyone, I'm Abbey Sharp. Welcome to Abbey's Kitchen. Today's video is sponsored by Built Bar, and we'll be looking at another Harper's Bazaar wedding in a day from comedian Tiffany Haddish. But first, let me tell you about my sponsor, Built Bar. Oh my gosh, it's snack time, lovers. And you know that means I am getting into my stash here. So these Built Bars are super tasty, and I really don't like protein bars because I don't like chalk masquerading as health food. But I like these bars because they taste exactly like a chocolate bar and they have a lot of protein in them. So today's flavor, what are we getting into? Minty fresh. Hello.
Hello.
So let's do the mint brownie. 17 grams of protein. I don't know if I've had this one. Maybe I have. It's gonna feel Christmassy. Hello, Santa. This would be next level if I melted it in the microwave for like 10 seconds, then put a little whipped cream on top. So good. Doing that today. Now, I usually have this before bed, but if I was gonna do this as like a post-workout snack, I would wanna probably pair it with a source of carbs from some fruit or maybe some oatmeal. So if you wanna try these out yourself, check out the link in my description and use my promo code AbbeySharp15 to get 15% off of your order. Now, before we get into it, feel free to pause the screen or look at the description to check out my disclaimer, including a trigger warning to those with current or previous experiences with disordered eating. So of course, I'm gonna be talking about macros and calories and analyzing this diet, so feel free to skip this video if it's not supportive to your journey. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that little bell so that you never miss out on an episode. All right, I'm hungry. Have my appetizer, let's eat.
Usually I stretch, I look at my hands, and I say, oh, I made it to another day. New chance for new beginnings. And then I pass gas. Then I'm like, what am I gonna eat?
Fun fact, apparently women's farts smell worse than men's. I would not have wanted to be the odor evaluator on that study board. And I'm also not so sure that I'd want to disclose the nature of my research at dinner parties if I was the head academic on that study. Like, imagine spending years of your life devoted to the chemical composition of people's farts. But anyways, whatever brings people joy. Moving on.
There goes some chicken from last night. I go ahead, I put that in a little pan, I warm that up in the oven. So then I go out to the garden, and I got strawberries back there, I got some kale back there, got some chard, celeries, and I eat the strawberries right out the dirt. Then I break off some of the kale, break off some of the chard, break off some of the celery, and then I put that through my little juicer.
Okay, so it wouldn't be a celebrity interview without celery juice. And I want to make it clear that I have nothing against celery juice or juicing any vegetable if you enjoy the taste. The reason I troll on celery juice is because of the typical double dose of pseudoscience commentary that accompanies celebrities and influencers drinking it. It's like people cannot just drink the damn juice without giving you a BS tutorial on its alleged nutritional benefits. As for the rest of the meal, I do appreciate that Tiffany doesn't seem to care so much about just having conventional breakfast, lunch, and dinner foods. Like, her meal is legit the most random thing of life, but we've actually got a fair bit of balance on board. So we got protein in the chicken, and we've got some fiber and antioxidants in the strawberries and vegetables. Now, I do think we could bump this up a bit to make it a little bit more of a satisfying meal by maybe throwing the chicken on some bread for some carbs and adding like a little cheese or savory spread like tahini, pesto, avocado, or olive tapenade for some fat. But yeah, I'm still just relieved that we didn't get an earful about like medical medium with this clip. Let's see what's next.
Mostly I drink tea. I love it, especially in the morning if I got like extra time, or if I'm out of town. A lot of times I'm in hotel rooms, so I'll drink turmeric and ginger tea first thing in the morning.
Great, you guys know my rules on morning drink rituals. Coffee, tea, black, cream, sugar, whatever, as long as it's not accompanied by pseudoscience, wellness, culture, BS, I'm here for it. And a turmeric ginger tea sounds like a nutritious and delicious option. Not caffeinated enough for my liking, but to each their own.
So then you have to call like room service, or you gotta be like, hey guys, make sure I got some scrambled eggs and avocado and tomatoes and a hamburger patty.
Okay, so this is apparently Tiffany's order when she's not like 20 feet away from her garden. And again, the girl is clearly more of a savory, hearty breakfast person. And that's cool. You know, we got protein in the eggs and hamburger, fat and fiber in the avocado, and a little bit of fiber in the tomato. But since there's probably a fair bit of animal protein in this meal, I would either go halvesies on the burger and then have some toast on the side for some energizing carbs, or just do eggs and then save the hamburger for lunch. But again, what I'm appreciating here is that even though this reads like a purposefully low carb keto style meal, we're not getting a woo explanation for Tiffany's diet choices shoved down her throat after every breath. It just seems like this is what she likes. And I respect that.
RESPCT.
What are you doing to maintain that fantastic body? And I have to tell them the truth. Not a damn thing. Look, I like to work out in groups. I prefer to do like stairs. I like to do the Baby Shark ab challenge.
How did I not know about this Baby Shark challenge? I'm totally gonna work this in with my kids. Like, parenthood and fitness finally become one. I love it. But again, I also love Tiffany's attitude here. So what she's describing is what I would call joyful movement. So she said she likes working out in groups and walking and doing some hokey YouTube workout that apparently was choreographed for 8-year-old girls, but she's not doing it to change her body or maintain her body, as she says. She's just doing it because it probably feels good or it's fun and she enjoys it. And that's great. That is sustainable movement.
Typical lunch for me would be like a salad, or if I'm in a place that's cold, I want a pastrami sandwich. Like I want some pastrami, I want like lentil bean soup or chicken soup. Today I was craving some fish. Some red snapper fried from Mel's Fish Shack.
That is all like my favorite kind of food too. I personally love all that. And salads are always great. Of course, we just want to remember to make sure that they're equipped with the hunger crushing combo and not just straight up lettuce with a few limp slices of cucumber and tomatoes in the mix. So we want to make sure we're bulking that up with some protein like chicken, tofu, beans, edamame. We want some fat in there like nuts, avocado, seeds, and dressing, and some fiber-rich carbs with some sweet potato, quinoa, buckwheat, or some bread. I also love me a good pastrami sandwich, especially on a cold day with a side of soup. Just keep in mind that most deli meat is pretty high in sodium, so I personally feel better pairing like a sandwich like that with nice fresh salad and then saving the soup, which is also pretty salty, for another day. And then if she was feeling like the soup, then I would personally pair that with like a few pieces of toast smeared in some avocado or something like that for some healthy fat. Ditto with the fried red snapper. Now, obviously I have no qualms about occasionally enjoying fried food, especially because in this case, we're getting a solid source of protein in that option. I would just try to bring in a little fiber into the mix with maybe like a colorful salad or some coleslaw on the side. So that way it's not beige on beige on beige. You know what I'm saying? Like, color is a beautiful thing.
For snacks throughout the day, I'm eating red vines, sometimes a sip of 5-hour energy drink, almonds, apples, oranges, nectarines. Ooh, dried apricots, right? You get the bag of dried apricots and then you pour almonds in there. Now you shake that up. Now you got your own special trail mix.
Okay, so this is an eclectic selection here. First of all, for my candy lovers, I'm never gonna tell you that you cannot have your licorice fix. There were so many great snack options in Tiffany's hit list here. So if she was feeling like the red vines, I would say let's dress up those naked carbs by pairing them with a source of protein, fiber, and/or fat. So like a handful of those almonds would be a solid snack in my books. Ditto for pairing any of those fruits with some nuts, seeds, cheese, or yogurt. Also, it's interesting to me that she's vibing on the apricot almond combo because they actually come from the same prunus family. So a lot of people don't know this, but apricot pits taste remarkably like almonds. And they're actually often used to flavor Italian amaretti and other almond flavored desserts. So yeah, I would say her foodie intuition is spot on. It is a perfect pairing, and together it's rich in fiber, protein, and fat. Hats off to you, chef.
That and fruit by the foot. That's in case I meet a man.
Yeah, you gotta have your edible tape measure close by to know what you're getting into, obviously. But also, where are my 90s kids at? How many of you used to wrap those fruit by the foots like around your thumb and then suck your thumb till it turned wrinkly and bright red? Yes, those were the days. I do hope that my kids get to experience the pleasure that is a disgusting, sticky red thumb. But speaking of red, let's talk red food dye found in products like fruit by the foot. Now, first of all, I want to premise this by saying we don't need to fear these foods or call them out as toxic or poison. There's actually no evidence that food coloring, like the infamous red dye 40 found in this product, is problematic for the masses. And based on current evidence, the Environmental Protection Agency, FDA, and the WHO has listed red dye 40 as a low concern at normal intake levels. But of course, some people may experience allergic reactions ranging from migraines to mild rashes and hives. I actually myself have a mild allergy to red dye 40, so this is one of the only foods that I actually try to limit. There's also some evidence linking red dye 40 to behavioral issues in a very small subsect of children. So research suggests that about 8% of kids with ADHD may have behavioral symptoms in relation to synthetic food colors, likely related to inflammation, chemical changes in the brain, and mineral depletion. Now, while restricting synthetic food dyes may be an effective treatment option for reducing behavioral symptoms in kids with ADHD, it's likely a very individual thing. So again, this is not meant to serve as a source of fear or concern for the masses. Honestly, I'm always hesitant to even talk about these kinds of things because the way I see it is that if these foods don't bother you, then there's no point stressing yourself out about them. But if they do bother you or your kids, know that thankfully a lot of brands are moving towards more subdued food-based food dyes. So I do expect that packaged snacks like this may soon follow suit.
Usually dinner is like, I like steaks, I like lobsters. I'm saying all the expensive stuff right now in case any men is out there that want to take me out to dinner.
This woman is a genius. Gotta give it to her. Also, I mean, these are solid protein options. I do believe that in general, we want to try to limit our consumption of red meat for environmental reasons, and also considering that most steaks are higher in saturated fat. Beef does have the largest greenhouse gas emission per kilogram, so for environmental reasons alone, I do recommend trying to limit consumption. Now, lobster in contrast is generally wild caught, so while it may not be so sustainable for our bank accounts, American lobster is considered a certified choice by Monterey Bay's Seafood Watch.
Oh, I love to have like chicken and dumplings for dinner. Chicken is a main thing. Sometimes I try to eat lamb. I can't, it bothers me. I think about Mary and I say, dang, she had a little lamb. Also tastes a little bit like musty armpit.
That is a perfect way to describe lamb. A musty armpit, I agree. I also do not like musty armpit flavored meat. Not trying to yuck people's yum, but it's also not for me. But I do love chicken and dumplings. And I think like most casseroles, I think while it's often painted as being like unhealthy comfort food, I actually see it as an inherent opportunity for balance. So we've got protein in the chicken, carbs in the biscuits, fat in the roux and creamy sauce, and we've got free reign to add in as many vegetables as we want. So carrots and peas are typically traditional, but I also like parsnips, green beans, celery, corn, butternut squash, and bell pepper too.
My alcoholic beverage of choice is vodka. Occasionally, I would dip off into a little wine or a sangria, which is basically wine with fruit, because I love fruit. And then, you know, wine is nothing but fruit juice that's been sitting for a while.
I mean, the woman is not wrong. And by that theory, wine should totally contribute to our 5 to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. But I mean, alas, that theory is just proof that there is definitely such thing as too much of a good thing. Also, sangria is my drink of motherhood, and I'll tell you why. I can't drink at night anymore because it messes up my sleep and it gives me a headache in the morning. And when you are woken up for the day by your kids at 5 a.m. on a Sunday, you do not have time for a hangover. So I am all about the day drink, and I just feel like sangria is a totally appropriate accompaniment to brunch. Am I right?
You're goddamn right.
People ask me, do you ever get hangry? Yes, but it's the parasites inside of me. When they are hungry and they don't eat, they take over my mind, and I'm pretty mean to everybody.
Okay, I think she's thankfully joking about the parasites, but sadly, most people on TikTok are not. Apparently everyone and their grandma has a parasite and needs some kind of detox in order to shit it out. But here's why that is obviously BS. First of all, while parasites are more common in third world countries, they do affect millions of people in the US alone, and while usually benign, they can cause serious illness. So I'm not discounting that this is a real problem. A lot of the popular over-the-counter parasite supplements right now, though, contain herbs like wormwood, which does have some evidence for its use as a natural antiparasitic adjunct treatment. But it might not be as miraculous as often stated. Interestingly, one of the big studies in 2018 that claimed that wormwood was more effective at clearing a parasite than standard medication was since retracted for potential inaccuracies of the data. So yeah, that is obviously not good. Now, a lot of these cleanses also appear to be maybe doing something because they contain herbs known to have laxative effects. So it's like suddenly, boom, things feel or look different than usual. And I know that most people doing these cleanses on TikTok report seeing something unusual in their stool, but are they gastroenterologists trained to identify different worms or parasitic organisms? No. No, they generally are not. And even if we were to assume that these supplements could in fact help detox the body from parasites, you would have to for sure have an actual parasite to detox from. And only a lab test can provide accurate results, not just looking at the contents of your last dump after you eat a papaya or something. And if said test did reveal that you had an actual legitimate parasite, you would probably want to consider the protocol that your doctor prescribed, not what some online TikTok influencer suggests. So if you are in fact suffering from symptoms like weight loss, increased appetite, abdominal pain, diarrhea, vomiting, sleep disturbances, fever, weakness, and anemia, please speak to your primary healthcare provider ASAP to get to the root of what might be causing the issue. Moving on.
So my other most favorite snack is pickles. The big ones that they sell in the big jars. And then you put a Now Later or a Jolly Rancher or a peppermint in the middle. Woo! Delicious flavors to savor. Let her get the pickle and then dip it in Kool-Aid powder. Now they sound like diabetes. It feels like success.
I mean, I can't say I'm not intrigued. Like the dill pickle with Kool-Aid or the Jolly Rancher, I can kind of see. Like we got the super salty, tangy, sweet combo going on. But the peppermint? I don't want to yuck her yum, but not for me. Like that seems like it would be like brushing your teeth and then drinking OJ. I don't know. Guys, leave me a comment below if this is something that I need to try or if Tiffany is just trolling us here. Like I'm getting watermelon mustard vibes going on. But as for Tiffany's statement about it feeling like diabetes, I know it was just said in jest, she is a comedian, but I just want to point out that contrary to common belief, sugar does not cause diabetes. There may be a strong correlation, especially with sugar-sweetened beverages, but it doesn't flat out cause it. Here's what we actually know from the research on diabetes and sugar-sweetened beverages. So evidence suggests that drinking just one sugary drink per day does appear to increase the risk of type 2 diabetes by about 13%, independent of any weight gain that it may cause. This may be related to excess high fructose corn syrup, which seems to promote inflammation and localized insulin resistance. Now, the sugary drinks may also contribute to weight gain and body fat, which are additional separate risk factors for diabetes. But what's really important to note is that this is just one teeny tiny piece of the puzzle here. And diabetes risk is actually quite multifaceted and complex. So exercise, smoking, sleep apnea, and genetics also play a significant role. In fact, there's a 40% chance of type 2 diabetes with one parent having it, and 70% chance if both parents have it. So yes, drinking Kool-Aid on the regular may add a layer of risk, but it's not automatically going to cause diabetes, especially in the context of an otherwise healthy diet.
When the ice cream truck comes and then you get the bag of Doritos and you buy a bag of Fritos and you mix those two chips together, you tell them to put 2 scoops of chili inside that bag and then the cheese on top with the jalapenos, and then you get the little plastic spork.
Okay, this is good. I've had that many a times at like food truck rallies and in California at random pit stops, and I agree, the spork is key here. I'm not even gonna attempt to make this more balanced because you're probably not going to find a vegetable at a lot of these places to bump up the nutrient value. But just know that a salty, higher fat meal like this isn't gonna make or break your health bank. If you love your Frito pie from a gas station, just enjoy it. But if you wanna make it at home and maybe make it a little bit more balanced for every day, I would suggest picking up some lower sodium chips, making a big batch of veggie bean packed chili, throwing on lots of avocado, diced tomatoes, bell pepper, and lettuce, and just like spork it up.
Cucumbers and tomatoes cut up together. And then you add a little bit of apple cider vinegar, some Lorry seasoning salt, some garlic seasoning salt, and some black pepper.
Okay, so I feel like if she wanted to add this little sprightly salad to the meal with her Frito pie, we'd actually have a solid meal, right? Like we'd have carbs in the chips, we'd have some fiber and protein in the chili, fat in the cheese, and some more fiber and antioxidants in the veg. Delish. And I also really love me a tangy, vinegary cucumber salad.
You know what else I love? Ain't nothing like some good corned beef and cabbage. Now, I could give you the full recipe, but we don't got time for that.
So that's another really great meal option. I have Irish roots, so I do love me some corned beef and cabbage. Though of course, do keep in mind that corned beef is a processed meat, so it's something that we'd want to enjoy in moderation because it is higher in salt and fat and nitrates. But I love pairing it with cabbage for like a cheap and cheerful antioxidant rich side. Throw in some potatoes and we got a classic Irish meal with some fiber, protein, and fat. She's good.
But I make this killer kale salad. I don't know if you ever had kale salad before, but this kale salad that I make, I could open up my own restaurant.
This woman is all over the place with her food picks and I am so here for it. I love that her preferences are varied and that she likes the stereotypical LA health foods like kale salad and green juice and ginger tea, but also is down to like crush a Frito pie and loves her Jewish deli meat and her southern dumplings. Like, I feel like we could get along. So, on that note, what can we say about Tiffany's diet? Well, I kind of feel like this is what eating should be like. It's not governed by random food rules. It just kind of is what feels good in the moment to your body. And when you're actually in tune, you're probably gonna legit feel like having cucumbers and apple cider vinegar after eating chili and cheese on top of Doritos. Like, I don't know if comedians are by nature just a little more chill and laid back compared to other performing artists that I review, but I do really appreciate the flexibility here. I didn't hear any moralizing language about food, and even when her food choices were stereotypically like superfood based, I didn't get a long spiel about how they cure cancer or detox the body or cleanse the body of a parasite. So it seems to me like this is just what tastes good or feels good to her. And that is like so refreshing to hear. Sure, not all of Tiffany's choices are the most nutrient dense or balanced. Like sometimes they're higher in saturated fat or salt, or other times I think we could bump up the satisfaction factor by adding in some nutrient rich carbs or veggies. But healthy eating to me is all about intention. A kale salad is obviously very healthy if it's what feels good to your body, or it can be unhealthy if you're shoving it down because Gwyneth Paltrow said you should. Likewise, a burger can be healthy if it's what your body's craving in the context of a balanced diet, or it can be unhealthy if it's part of some elaborate cheat day meal. Intention is really important in these scenarios. Honestly, I really like this woman. More reviews like this one, please. And on that note, that is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you again to Built Bar for sponsoring this video. If you liked it, please be sure to give it the thumbs up. Leave me a comment below on who you'd like to see me review next. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye.